Hey, good evening, everybody. This is actually going to be my first video that I'm recording. So hopefully it reaches a lot of people. What I want to talk about is things that I'm learning about myself with a breakup that I just went through, not even realizing that I'm the problem. Not the entire problem, but I'm just learning about a thing called, I'm trying to think of the exact name because I'm just learning about it through counseling that I'm going through. Anxious attachment. What I'm learning about it is stems from your childhood. Me, I had daddy issues. My dad was always there. Just give you a little rundown of my childhood. I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up right outside of Boston. It was a city called Brockton, Mass. I lived there almost my whole life. My parents were together my entire life. My dad, however, was an alcoholic and abused my mom. I was the only girl. I had 5 brothers. What I remember as a child is I knew I was loved from my mom. She always told me she loved me. She always hugged me. But my dad didn't. Like, I remember my dad pretty much not even really talking to me, and he would buy me like G.I. Joes and Nerf guns and stuff like I was one of the boys. So I remember not really being treated like, a dad's pretty princess. I don't think I ever heard that from him. He never really hugged me, told me he loved me. So it goes all the way back to that. This is what I'm learning. I do remember several times growing up that my mom had put him out because he would put his hands on her. And I remember being about 10, and I was begging my mom not to make him leave. I don't know why, because I knew he wasn't nice to her, but it was my dad. He came back. He went to a treatment center. He came back, and the cycle started again. But now I'm getting older, and I do remember when I was like 15, I jumped on my dad's back. I was hitting him in the head because I think he was punching my mom in the face or something. I don't remember, but we didn't have a good relationship. So my issues came from that. So let's fast forward a little bit. My mom went to school. She became a nurse. We moved to Pennsylvania, where she was from. I got pregnant at 18. I had a child, and then I met a man. My mom was a nurse at a Christian Bible college. This man that I met was a student there. I'm young, I want to still go out and do stuff, and he liked my son. So I would let him take my son sometimes. And then he started telling me, I want to take you out, let me go buy you things. And, I'm a 18-year-old girl. Sure. You want to take me and buy me stuff? Cool. Anyway, I wound up seeing this guy. I wound up getting pregnant by him. In the end, we wound up getting married. Only because my mom was a Christian. He was in Bible school. It was supposed to be the right thing to do. But I didn't love him. He didn't love me. 26 years of my life with a narcissistic abuser, kind of like my dad. Although he wasn't an alcoholic, he was a drug addict. But I didn't know. I'm saying all of this to say, I have put here that I didn't really know what being in love felt like. My first son's father, I think I loved him. Being in love, I'm not sure. I was 17, 18 years old. It ended pretty quick. And then I got with the gentleman that I married and stayed with him until I was 45. I had 3 children out of it. We owned a house. It was not a good relationship. It was very verbally abusive, sometimes physically, mentally. Um, it wasn't a good relationship at all. I wasted many, many years of my life. I couldn't wait to get out of it. I stayed single for a while. At that point, I kind of just saw guys when I felt like it. I didn't want any titles. I didn't want a relationship. I didn't want any connection with anybody. I didn't want it. I didn't allow it to happen. I had walls up. I wouldn't allow anybody in my space. Until I met this gentleman. I was 40, 50, I was 46 when I met this gentleman. Beautiful man, beautiful soul. I'm going to say months before I ever, I was speaking to him, but I knew from the moment I saw him that I felt something. I'd never felt this before. Haven't been with tons of men, but I've been with men. I've dated people. I liked people. I may have even thought I loved people, but was I ever in love? I don't believe so. I can say almost 99% I was never in love as an adult. Being that I'm 50 years old, I never truly felt loved. And quite honestly, I don't think I ever even had an orgasm. TMI, until I met this man. So I met this man. And for many months, we spoke kind of as friends. I would see him at work sometimes. He didn't work with me, but he would come through where I worked. I am a CDL trainer at Amazon. I train the students that drive on the yard. So I would see him come through and he would pick things up and he would leave. He worked for another company. But we would speak kind of as friends. I like shoes and he would compliment me on my shoes, and totally not my type of guy, but I just knew I felt something every time I saw him, kind of goosebumps, chills, butterflies, all of that. And I was just like, he wasn't even my type, but I just knew something felt different. They say love at first sight. I kind of want to think that's probably what it was for me. So this gentleman, after, months of talking here and there, he said, "Do you have Facebook?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "What's your name on it?" I told him. We became Facebook friends. Then I realized he was actually really funny. I would see his stuff and I would laugh and I would be like, this guy is goofy. We kind of started talking as friends. I had 5 brothers, so I was always really much cooler with men than I felt I was with females. So I was like, yeah, we can be friends, we can be cool. Of course, it turned into something more. But the first time that I saw him, and he actually I want to say when we touched, when we hugged or something, it was like sparks, like an electric volt went through my body. I don't know how to, I don't even really know that this even sounds explainable. But it was the most scariest and best feeling I've ever felt in my life. But after that, I didn't want to see him anymore because I felt like, what is this that I'm feeling? It's too strong. And I knew I didn't want to have feelings for anybody. I knew for myself that was not anything that I wanted to feel. I didn't want to get that closeness, that connection with anybody. I just wanted to be in my own world by myself and not feel. I know that's not a good thing, but that's where I was. And I was trying not to see him, and he was very, very persistent. And he would always tell me, "I just want to see you. Can I just come by and see you?" And I was trying for the longest time not to see him. I saw several different men that I had been seeing for a while. It was a few of them, and I let him know. I was very honest with him. And he would say, "Can you just pencil me in?" And if you need to erase me, you can. He was the sweetest, most beautiful man I had ever met. And I would tell everybody, he's too nice. I don't like him. He's too nice for me. I remember telling him at one point, you're too good for me. Because I didn't want to hurt him. Because I knew where I was myself at that time. I could tell that I don't know if it was lust or what it was, but I could tell that he really liked me. And he told me, he wanted to know everything about me. He wanted to learn me. And that was so dope to me, that he wanted to learn me. And he said, I would do anything I can to put a smile on your face. That's what I'm here for, is to make you smile. That was my mission. Everything he said to me was absolutely beautiful. I literally everything that came out of his mouth to me was beautiful. He made me feel gorgeous. I remember him telling me at one point that when I miss you, I go through your pictures on Facebook so I can see your face. I didn't get that type of affection from my ex-husband. I was more like property to him. I knew he didn't love me. He wasn't in love with me, and I knew I wasn't in love with him. It was not a good relationship. So this gentleman, he said all the right things. He did all the right things. Eventually, we became a couple. I knew on December 7th of 2021 that I was in love with him. He was the only man I was with for the last 3.5 years. The reason I'm talking about all of this is because he was so good to me. So good to me. But I didn't realize how damaged I was and how much reassurance I needed all the time. I always thought, even if I didn't think he was going to cheat, because I trusted him, because he was so honest with me about everything, I didn't trust women. My ex-husband had cheated with somebody that I thought was my best friend and got her pregnant. He was always cheating with people. I didn't trust women, and I didn't trust men. But this